Hello, everyone. This is Patrick Shaw. It's great to be with you on this LegalShield specific to broker call. And I'm in Denver, Colorado here. We're going to go quickly over an overview of what is happening with LegalShield and how Mid-Ocean Partners, our new private equity, our ownership, is really changing the way we do business and providing a very unique opportunity for us in the marketplace. So I'll just dive right in and give you a little bit of backstory, I guess. In June of this past year, our 40-year-old company was purchased by Mid-Ocean Partners, one of three private equity firms that were bidding. Our stock went from $55 a share to $65 a share, and we were purchased for $650 million. We've always had an incredible product, but the reality is it was never branded very well. We didn't have much in the way of marketing, branding, IT, web presence, national media, or the other likes of traditional marketing ideas. And when Mid-Ocean bought, all that changed. They rebranded us in 70 days, which is incredible to take a $500 million company with 1.4 million members and rebrand us in less than 70 days. And that's what they did. And that began what is today LegalShield. And the most important part of our company for the broker, for the insurance agent, even perhaps the property casualty individual, is the product itself. It's the backbone of what we do. So I want to quickly go through and take about 8 minutes here and run through the service just to make sure that we're all on the same page. And the service is simple. LegalShield gives people the ability to talk to an attorney on any matter without worrying about the high hourly cost. For one flat monthly fee, you can access legal advice no matter how traumatic or trivial the issue. No matter how traumatic or trivial the issue. And ultimately, when we're in a group employee benefits arena, then and we're presenting the service, the bottom line to the consumer, to the client is, to the employee of that company, is how will this bring them peace of mind? A friend of mine said that a legal situation is any situation that would be better resolved with the advice of an attorney. Well, that brings up a whole plethora of different issues, common everyday kind of situations. People have signed contracts, been overcharged, treated unfairly, received a traffic ticket, they've been a victim of identity theft. These are common everyday issues. Now, we're paying the law firms across the country in excess, some of these law firms in excess of $1.5 million a month. These are the top 5 reasons that people call: real estate, consumer finance, family law, estate planning, traffic issues. Common everyday situations. We're probably all aware that the color of justice is green. You get about as much justice as you can pay for. On the west side of the Supreme Court building, it says equal justice under law. It's an idea our country was founded upon, but the reality is the average person is priced out of the legal system. And this is where LegalShield comes in. So on this screen, you'll see this is our basic standard plan. It's a plan that we'll offer in the group employee benefits arena as well as to individuals. But it gives the member unlimited legal advice. They can call for as many issues as they may have and get unlimited advice. We guarantee them a phone call back within 8 hours. They can call 5 days a week, 8 hours a day to our law firms across the country. Now, the first question is, well, what kind of law firm are you going to get? Martindale-Hubbell rates law firms. The highest single rating that Martindale-Hubbell will give is AV rated, and over 80% of our law firms are AV rated. These law firms that in Colorado, as an example, Riggs, Abney, Neal, Turpin, Orbison, and Lewis, we paid $250,000 to last month. Now, they don't have to chase an ambulance or hang a billboard. And this is a very important part to our system that makes us very unique when it comes to legal plans in the group employee benefits arena. There are companies out there that offer legal plans. Nobody has a closed panel proprietary network, and I'll talk about that shortly. But let's get on with the service. Unlimited legal advice. We'll write letters and make phone calls on your behalf. One letter or phone call per issue. As many issues as an individual has, we'll write the letter and make the phone call. We'll review contracts or documents up to 10 pages. We'll prepare a comprehensive will, which is a good $1,000 value. Medical durable power of attorney, a will designed for that individual and spouse or significant other, right? Designed for that individual. Traffic-related issues. This means we'll show up in court. The attorney can be there, represent you, work to keep the points off the license. Every jurisdiction's a little bit different in how that is handled, but we'll show up and work to keep the points off the license. Trial defense is simple. If you get named in any personal civil suit, then you're able to have as much as 335 hours of pretrial and trial time. Now, you must own the service before the situation occurs that creates the lawsuit. So there are some limitations. Motor vehicle has a 15-day waiting period. It's important to know with trial defense that the employee cannot use it against their employer in the group employee benefits arena. Kind of obvious. IRS audit legal services will cover you back to last year's audit with up to 50 hours of help, 25% member discount. We don't cover everything. A divorce, a child custody, a DUI, patent law. You're going to have a great law firm that will still give you unlimited consultation, but you may need to go further than that, and you'll get discount on those services. 24/7 emergency access. If you're ever detained, questioned, or arrested, we all have Miranda rights. And those Miranda rights say you have the right to an attorney, you have a right to remain silent, you have a right to an attorney. But what attorney are you going to call at 9 o'clock at night? I was in Atlanta, met a gentleman there named Ron. Ron was Middle Eastern. He went home for the holidays. It's 9 o'clock on a weekend evening in New York. And Ron is arrested, and he's taken down, and he goes to jail, and there's 25 Middle Eastern guys sitting in jail. Now, obviously, they had some kind of scare. I wouldn't want law enforcement's job, but they all knew they were going to spend the night in jail is the bottom line. And Ron invokes his Miranda rights, and he calls his attorney. He gets his phone call, gets on the phone. They talk to the personnel at the facility. They call him out, they fingerprint him, process him, and he goes home that night. He said, I was the only person they called. As you can imagine, 9 o'clock, weekend, holiday evening, who are you calling? When you're a member of LegalShield, you have 24/7 emergency access. We have over tens of thousands of online legal forms to help you with any legal issues. And if that's not enough, we do the monitoring. Through a partnership with Kroll Worldwide, Kroll Factual Data, the largest forensic private investigation firm in the world, we will help with the identity theft issues that arise. Now, I won't go through identity theft, but we know that with the government benefits and the loss of data the government has experienced in the last several years, it's happening all over the place. I think last week it was LinkedIn had a breach that I read about. And then another large org. I mean, it's just nonstop. And it's not about hiding your credit card. You can't stop identity theft today. Nobody can. But what we can do is we can do restoration. So as you can see, identity theft's the largest white-collar crime in history, America's fastest growing crime. The average loss per victim is $92,000. 51% of identity theft occurs in the workplace. Again, group employee benefits. The revenue from trafficking financial data has surpassed drug trafficking, and that was by the Secret Service in 2007. The data goes on and on. There's top 5 reasons for identity theft. Only 27% is financial. There's a huge amount that's medical identity theft, and you look at the effect and the cost to a household. The average loss per victim is $1,750. You saw some of those stats. So here's our solution. Credit monitoring with activity alerts is a big part of it. Through Experian, we will monitor a person's credit every single day. Now, we do a lot more, but for the sake of brevity here, I'll focus on the most important pieces. We do monitoring and we do restoration. You sign a one-page limited power of attorney with Kroll, they will restore your credit back to the original state prior to the identity theft. We do all of this for $26.95 a month. Month to month, no contract. In the group arena, that's discounted. We waive the one-time $10 enrollment fee, and the product becomes $25.90. They get a small discount regardless of the size of the group. It takes at least 5 employees to create a group, though. Now, what benefit providers need to know? If you're on this phone and you're a broker, you want to work with brokers directly, or you're working in the group employee benefits arena, we currently have about 40,000 group benefit accounts that exist. Now, this is an incredibly small number given the value of the product and the value proposition, but we've never targeted this as well as we should have or could have, maybe could have. And again, this brings us back to MidOcean Partners. But statistics suggest that 7 out of 10 Americans deal with an ongoing legal issue in a calendar year. 7 out of 10 Americans, 50 to 70% average participation rate. So in the group environment, in a 15 to 20 minute presentation, we will have a 50 to 70% participation rate. The broker compensation is paid as an annualized advance commission with lifetime level renewal. $50 to $250 per plan with up to 25% renewal. It's guaranteed issue. There's no underwriting. And will provide the on-site training and attend enrollment meetings as needed. There's no cost to the employer to set up or to administer the benefit. And the bottom line value is to the company. It's the savings that comes to the company. Now, obviously, the employee themselves has got, I think they're the biggest winner. But to the company, you look at the statistics by the Society of Human Resource Management National Study, 67% of employees who called in sick were not sick at all. Almost half the employees who take time off do so to deal with legal or work-related legal or legal-related issues. Studies show that employees with legal issues are 5 times more absent, use their medical benefits 4 times more than average, and experience a substantial reduction in productivity. So you can see the cost of absenteeism, how it affects the company. And so the bottom line savings is to the company as well as the employee. I mentioned earlier the proprietary network of provider firms. This is very important to understand when understanding what makes LegalShield unique. Our law firms receive 1/3 of every dollar created in each and every state. What our competition does and what we did 15, almost 20 years ago now does not work. And it is a list of attorneys that are willing to do traffic tickets at $250 or a will for a couple $100. And there's a massive list of attorneys. And if that attorney goes fishing or he decides that he talked to the client for 2 hours and not the actual hour it took, and they turn around and bill the company, you can't control the cost and you can't control the quality of the service. But when that law firm receives 1/3 of every dollar in that state every month, and you've got law firms that are over $1.5 million a month, you get their attention. And the caliber and quality of the attorneys and the services changes dramatically. And it's something important to understand about what LegalShield's doing. These are some of the companies currently. I have one individual, Scott Viette, on the team that has marketed over 11,000 personal sales. Organizations like Arizona State University, Children's Hospital, City of Jacksonville, it goes Orlando Magic, et cetera, et cetera. I mentioned the marketing research that MidOcean had done. They hired one of the largest marketing research firms in the country to reposition what the offering is. And again, I'm speaking to where we're going over the next 3, 4, and 5 years. MidOcean's goal is to be at 7 million members in the next 36 months. We're at 1.4 million memberships nationwide. And whether you like Aflac or not, Aflac was a 38% or 40-year-old company, $500 million in sales. We're a 40-year-old company with $500 million in sales, and they changed the presentation to the public. Everybody knows the duck, and they got employees to say, hey, do we have Aflac to the employer? And the employer didn't know who Aflac was any more than the employee asking did. And the short of it is they called the broker. And that has led to a $50 billion company in assets. And we sit in a very unique, and obviously they don't compete with us in their product offering or any of that, but voluntary employee benefits are exploding. And that's more to my point, is that with healthcare, I don't need to mention to anybody on the phone that has lived it every day. Commissions are tighter than they've ever been. Voluntary employee benefits are exploding. Within the Fortune 500, legal is the fastest growing voluntary employee benefit there is. And the new statement put together by MidOcean, and really Rip Mason, Alan Fernley, the new CEO, president, CCO, head of IT. We've got a lot of people on board since June when they made the purchase in 2011, less than a year ago. And this is the new statement. And that statement was taken to over 30,000 people who are representative of the 226 million adults in the U.S. And the bottom line is 14% said they'd subscribe if it existed. 24% said they'd probably subscribe, and 32% said they might or might not. This is a very, very large target market that's over 86 million adults in the U.S. 61% of people surveyed said this product was unique and different to anything they had ever heard of. It's easy administration. The method of payment is payroll deduct. Obviously, when you break down on a weekly basis what that $25.90 is, it comes out to $5.98. I think, again, the bottom line is 50 to 70% enrollment rate. There's plan price reliability, which simply means in our 40-year history, we haven't raised the rates on a member in 40 years. It's portable. The employee can take it with them by credit card, EFT, etc. There's no contract or claim forms. It's immediate usage. And I also think on the usage front, it's important to know there's very high participation and utilization rates. And this affects your bottom line retention. The fact that we're paying residual on that book of business for life, the usage, if we get a member to use the service, it increases the retention by over 60%. We want people to use it. And often in benefits, you don't want to use it, whether that's regardless of the type of benefit. People often don't want to use their benefit. It means something went wrong. But this is a benefit that they can really use. As far as the compensation is concerned, there are changes that are currently being made specifically to address the broker. But I'm going to give you the generic kind of overview here, is that you're going to get paid $51 on a $26.95 membership. It's about $50 on a $25.90 membership, so we'll just stick with the $26.95 numbers. But $51.82 on your first 5 sales. By the time you're a director, that's 150 total sales cumulative over any period of time, and that's $155, which is a 1-year advance commission. You can take that commission as earned, just divide the number by 12, and then there'll never be an advance, and then your residual kicks in on the 13th month. The lifetime renewals is based on your retention. The higher the retention, the higher your renewal. I think it's safe around that 10% area on your renewals of what your original compensation was, is what you'll be paid after the 13th month. And we can get more into that in details should you have questions after this call. But there is no downside. Employers love it. They get the help they need when they need it without fear of the cost. And frankly, without fear of the company knowing about particular situations that employees don't necessarily want to talk about. They have a resource that can keep them at work and with less stress. There's no direct cost to the employer and 3 simple steps to implement. I'd encourage you, go check out a few websites as we wrap up here. LegalShieldVideo.com will show you 3 of the new commercials that are being launched for the national media campaign that will be in full force by the end of the year, which could have a dramatic impact, obviously, on your success with enrollments and in the marketplace. This is only the beginning. Even though we're a 40-year-old company, rock solid, it's an exciting time. Go look at midoceanpartners.com. They're the private equity firm. You'll see Totes Bags, South Beach Diet, some very successful, Jenny Craig, very successful ventures. They know what they're doing. Go look up Kroll, Background America at kroll.com. And then if you want to know about the market research group, it was Decision Analyst, one of the largest in the country.